Good morning, everybody. It's Gloria, and I'm here with Lily Beth, and she's taking a nap this morning. We are back from our vacation. It was a wonderful trip that we had, and I've taken a few days off from attempting to do videos simply to get my house and everything back in order. And I've been trying to catch up with everyone's videos by watching them. Stayed up late a couple of nights this week, and I really enjoyed seeing and catching up on the latest news from everyone. On vacation, I was so hoping that I would get to visit perhaps more than one baby shop and pick up a few new things for Lily Beth, but unfortunately, up in the Carolinas, it was small towns that we visited, and so there were no baby shops. And therefore, I didn't get to buy anything as far as clothes, but I did come across a few really cute items that they had in some of the gift shops, and I did get those for Lily Beth. One was this little set. They were sold separately, but it's a little kitty cat head here, stuffed head, and it's a pacifier holder. And then it had a matching lovey, and Lily Beth really likes this little kitty cat. It's small, and it fits just very nicely in her hand, and she loves to cuddle that. So I've got her with those this morning. And what she has on is an outfit that I actually bought last year on clearance at TJ Maxx. It was a 3-piece outfit. I think it is so cute. Has little birds on it. Let me see if she'll let me move this so I can show you. I have a bib on her this morning, but it's a little polka dot shirt with the embroidered bird. Looks like perhaps it might be a little robin. And a birdhouse, and then here are the larger birds on the bib, and just has a little pants here with birds in very soft colors, and I love this pink. So as Melanie told me on Mel's Joyful Nursery, pink overload. I love pink. Oh man, I love to match all the pinks together. And I did purchase the little cap that she had on at Goodwill this week. And I think it's so sweet. With winter approaching, I love to put the little winter caps on the head to keep it warm. It just makes her look so much more cuddly. But the main purpose in today's video, one of my younger subscribers, her name is Georgia, requested several weeks ago that I do a video on the care of reborns, and I have been putting it off because I was hoping to have the assistance of my granddaughter over here, and I could use some props and actually, be hands-free and show more about how to care for a reborn doll, but it just hasn't worked out that way. My granddaughter has not been well lately, and, in school and everything, it just hasn't worked out. So I'm just going to kind of do this as best I can, Georgia, and hope that this is what you wanted to hear. Pardon me, I'm a little bit stuffy this morning. Just a little bit hoarse. But what I would say in getting a reborn and the care for a reborn, when I was looking, now this is going to be strictly from my own experience and, watching and seeing what others have come up with and how they look at things and what they look for when they're purchasing a reborn. But I wanted to find the most realistic baby possible, and so I did a lot of research on eBay before I made my decision to bid on Lily Beth. And some of the things that I found as I looked at the many dolls out there, I looked for the similarities and the things that I felt were the most important to get, or I'm searching for my word here, and it's just kind of leaving me this morning. But it was mainly that I wanted micro-rooted hair, and that is just 1 or 2 hairs per hole. And I wanted an open nose, that is, the nostrils opened, not just painted in. Lily Beth has open nostrils. I wanted rooted eyelashes. And I wanted eyebrows that were natural, like a newborn baby's would look, very light, a little bit pale, not so painted on as if they had been painted on with eyebrow pencil. And I wanted mottling and veining to show. And I was particularly interested in the hands and what the nails look like. And I wanted just slight nail tipping here, as you see on Lily Beth's little finger. And when I found Lily Beth on eBay, she was everything that I had been looking for. And thank the Lord, I did win the bid, and I got my precious Lily Beth. Now here comes the care part. Her being my only reborn doll, and not having one prior to this, I just kind of leapt into this blindly. And when I got her, I've had dolls my whole life, and so I know that they require care. I've always, ever since I was a little girl, taken very good care of what few dolls I had. And so I applied that to how I cared for Lily Beth. But I also listened to other reborn moms and artists and read the instructions that was sent to me by Lily Beth's artist on how to care for her. And so I adhered to those ideas and rules as well. And here I've had Lily Beth about 1.5 years now, and things are going well. Although I have had a couple of problems, and I wanted to address those. And this is one of the things that I think particularly young reborn moms need to know when they get their babies. And that is, girls, these are art dolls. They are not your typical doll. They're not made like the ones that are manufactured that you would buy at Toys R Us or some of the other, the dolls like Barbies and all, where there are multiples made of them. These are individual dolls that are painted by one person. Each doll is an individual and unique doll by itself. They're all one of a kind, even though they are made of this, perhaps, there's several of the same sculpt. Each are individually painted, and so therefore there are no two alike. Some are painted with air-dried paints. Some are painted with the Genesis heat set paints, which I'm told that the Genesis heat set paints perhaps last longer or a little bit more durable, and you could bathe the baby a little bit. But they both are art dolls, and they have to be handled and cared for differently than your manufactured dolls. The rooted eyelashes, if you pull on them, if you put the clothes on over their heads and let them pull across the eyelashes, eventually they will come out. If you bathe the doll frequently or use anything but an extremely mild washing material or soap, the paint will probably come off. You know, if you scrape them against something, you know, the paint will come off, and you will have damaged your precious little reborn baby that either you or a parent has spent a lot of money on. And the thing that I've learned the hard way with Lilybeth is by changing her clothes so often, it has literally rubbed the nail tip paint off her fingernails, except for that one little finger. And therefore, her hands don't look as realistic as they once did. And I'm going to have to send her back to her artist and let her, repaint her nails and perhaps touch up the mottling and veining on her hands. Her feet aren't quite as bad because they stay covered, more and don't and aren't subject to as much abuse as her little hands. But if I had to do it over again, I would keep the little hand mitts on Lilybeth while dressing and undressing her, so that when the material of her clothing rubbed against her arms and hands as I was dressing her, or as I am dressing her, there would be less rubbing to the paint and would create less wear. So that is one problem that I was not aware of until I actually had it myself. Another is with the micro-rooted mohair. Now, Lilybeth has a very good quality mohair. I'm not going to take her cap off now because she has hat hair. But over time, some of her hair has broken off, and, some of the hairs have come out. And it's not so much apparent by looking at her, on the front, but where I lay her with her head in, mostly the position that it's in now, she has a little bald spot on the back. The hair has literally rubbed off down to the vinyl. Thank goodness the hair above that spot is long, and when I comb her hair, it covers that bald spot, but I am going to have her re-rooted. Now, I understand from hearing from some of the other reborn moms that this is not unusual, that after a baby is about a year or so old, that the hair does start breaking down and will break off, and that, some of it will come out and that the baby will have bald spots. So I guess that, unless it's a baby that you never touch, that perhaps this is to be expected. Now, for the young reborn moms, it may be a good idea to buy a baby with painted hair, and you wouldn't have to worry about this. But as far as washing or bathing Lilybeth, I do not use wipes on her. I only take a very soft cloth just every once in a while, not very often, that's damp with water, just damp, and gently pat her. I do not rub her or anything. I don't want anything to happen to the finish on her. And I think maybe by doing that, it's made her, look just like she did the day I got her. Also, I noticed that because I was told that I could use the Johnson & Johnson detangler on her hair, it does make it easy to comb, but over time the color has come off her hair, and I've noticed that on the comb. I don't use a brush. I tried using a brush on Lilybeth's hair, but I noticed after a few tries that it seemed to pull on the hairs, and even though they are glued in her head, I was losing a few here and there. So I gently, very gently go through her hair with just a baby comb. But I did notice that the color was coming off on the baby comb. So now her hair, instead of being very, very dark brown, it's more of a medium dark brown. I actually like this color better than the dark brown, but it may pose a problem when I go to get her rerooted trying to match the color. But that's basically, all I can think of as far as caring for her. I'm very careful when I pick her up. I don't let her head flop. I try to be very gentle with her. And if you young ladies out there have ever held a real baby, when you're holding your reborn dolls, just think of them as a real baby and treat them as if you would a real baby. No roughhousing, no pulling the arms, no carrying her by her arm or a leg. Make sure you hold her and support her head and her little bottom. And also, Lily Beth has a doe suede body, and it's very soft and cuddly. But I prefer to use cloth diapers on Lily Beth versus the disposable ones. She just feels more cuddly and soft in those, and I don't change her very often. Part of the fun, I'm sure, of having a reborn is changing the clothes all the way down to the diaper. But, I just feel like the fewer times that I have to handle her and mess with the clothes and mess with the fabric next to her body, the better off we'll be. And I don't put anything directly on her body. I keep a white onesie on Lily Beth, and I feel that protects her from not only the cloth body getting dirty, but it protects from the dyes and the fabrics of the clothes that she wears getting on her body and on the skin. So I would suggest you always keeping a white onesie on your reborn, and I rarely take that off her unless I'm ready to change and put a clean one on, and I don't do that more than just maybe once every 2 or 3 months, because she really doesn't get dirty, so there's no use to just continually manipulate her joints and fool with that. I just don't do it. And another thing about the baby bottles is I use fabric softener, and I put a few drops of vanilla flavoring in it to color it and make it the color of formula. And then I use the silicone glue in the nipple tip. I love the ma'am bottles. I love the shape of them, the feel of them. I love the little patterns on them. And this is the smaller version. I think it's like a 6-ounce bottle. But that's what I use for Lily Beth when I feed her or pretend to feed her. And I'm always careful to use a bib or something, even though it's sealed. I don't want to take any chances of there being any leaks, particularly when you mash the nipple down. So, I want to have a bib around her so that she doesn't get anything on her body. And it's very important not to get the body wet. And it may stain it. And if it were allowed to stay wet, it could possibly mold or mildew, and then you would have a ruined baby, and you would have to get a new baby, or a new body, excuse me. But I'm just telling you these things off the top of my head. Don't have any scripted thing. I probably should have, so that the video wouldn't be quite so long. But I'm hoping, Georgia, that for you and your friends that wanted me to do this video, that I've covered the things that you want to hear. And if not, if you will let me know in the comment about, or give me questions, I will be happy to answer them. And as you probably know from my previous videos, the majority of Lily Beth's clothing and all her accessories, including blankets, toys, bouncer, bassinet, everything that I have for Lily Beth, with very few exceptions, comes from either consignment sales or thrift stores. Therefore, I feel like I've been very frugal in what I spend on Lily Beth, and I have very, very nice things for her. I only buy things that are like new because I feel like I'm wasting my money if I just go and buy, say, a whole lot of onesies, even though they may be 50 cents to $1. You can only have so many onesies, so I would rather save my money and buy a whole outfit. And after I bought several outfits, then I started buying accessories like caps and socks and shoes. And I've not had any trouble, over time finding these. It's just a matter of visiting the shops regularly. But anyway, that's my video for today, Georgia. And I so appreciate you subscribing to my channel. And, if you have any other videos you would like me to do or things, I hope this has been what you wanted me to do. And I look forward to hearing from you. And ladies, I'm sure the other moms, this is kind of old information to you all, but there are a lot of up-and-coming reborn mommies out there that we need to mentor and, give them instruction. And so that's what I wanted to do here. So I will say bye for now, and God's blessings to you, and we will talk to all of you again soon. So I send love and hugs from Gloria and Lily Beth. Bye-bye, everybody.